Standard subframe mounting with top secret profile. Feed the ties to the subframe with M8 hexagonal head screws. Place the subframe through the opening and mark the references of heights for the tie housings. Make the housings in the wall opening in or side according to the indicated measurements. Place the subframe in the wall opening at finished floor level. The arrow indicates 1 meter in height. The subframe must always be installed, taking into account the height of the finished floor, avoiding sinking it into the floor. Check the horizontal level and the plumb. Measure and check for even diagonals. Measure and check for the two measures in height to be even. Check that the spaces are rotated into the correct position. Make sure that all of the bolts clamping the spaces are tight. Use the provided plaster support meshes to minimize cracks on the plaster during the subsequent plastering step. Brick in the subframe. Remove the spaces and the crossbars only once the cement is settled. Smooth off the plaster flush with a top secret aluminium profile. Alternative subframe installations. Elongated ties using ties and nuts supplied as extra. Make a housing into the wall, increasing the width to 220 mm. Or, with dowels and chemical anchoring not supplied by Dierre, it is not necessary to make a housing into the wall. Frame assembling operations including leaf on the subframe. Move the frame leaf assembly close to the subframe and fully open the leaf. Remove the frame lower spacer. Feed the cables from the slots provided for securing the frame contact. Connect the various cables to the frame card, following the scheme within the instruction manual. For example, the supply must be brought to contacts 1 and 2, while the communicator and mass to contacts 3 and 4. Fix the card to the frame. Secure the frame using the M8 screws supplied in the accessory box. Begin by setting all the screws from the hinges side, starting from the top down, and then continue with the lock side. Then make sure that the frame is level and finish by tightening all the screws. Wall security leaf adjustment. Carry out the leaf adjustment through the hinges in order to achieve the best opening-closing operation. When performing the adjustment, always foresee a lifting push system on the low point of the side opposite the hinges of the door in order to avoid transferring the entire weight of the leaf on the adjustment dowels. Leaf height adjustment. Working on the hinges of the leaf, loosen both hexagon socket screws, both upper and lower. Only work on the top cut screw by turning in a clockwise direction to raise the leaf and anti-clockwise to lower it. Adjustment maximum ±4 mm. Once the adjustment is complete, tighten the hexagon socket screws and test the adjustment. Leaf lateral movement adjustment and leaf slant. Working on the hinges of the leaf to perform the adjustment on one hinge at a time by equally screwing or unscrewing both slotted screws close to the hinge arm. By turning the screws clockwise, the leaf moves toward the lock. By turning anti-clockwise, the leaf moves towards the hinges. If adjusting the pairs of screws in an opposite manner between the upper and lower hinge, a rotation of the leaf is obtained. Cross adjustment of the leaf. Working on the hinges of the frame, loosen both hexagon socket screws, freeing the constraint between the leaf and the frame. The entire assembly can be moved by ±1.5 mm, and obviously all the leaf moves with it. A screwdriver can be used to move the assembly. Once the adjustment is complete, tighten the screws and if necessary, repeat the operation on the other hinge. Adjust the mobile threshold by unscrewing the plug located in the lower part of the hinges side of the leaf, then checking its correct adjustment by closing the door. Fitting the accessories. Handle fitting. All the necessary items are in the accessory box. Remove the cylinder plaque by unscrewing the two screws. Remove the Zama support from the lock. Secure the bracket to the cylinder using the M5/16 screw. Using the key, enter the cylinder in the proper direction inside the lock. Fit the defender, securing it to the lock using the spacer and the M6 bolts supplied. Tighten the screws by then testing the correct operation of the system. Once the operation is completed, secure the escutcheons again and refit the various caps. Screw the threaded ring nut in the knobs and insert the split spindle in the right direction inside one of the two, securing it with a suitable dowel. Install the knob on the lock and pair it with a matching item on the opposite side, securing it with a suitable dowel. General starting and electronic configuration operations of the door. Connect the cables to the alternating current transformer. The power inputs to clamps number 2 and 5. The power outputs to bring the door to clamps number 8 and 11. Fitting of remote coded button and coded keyboard. Fit the remote button on the plastic support. Connect the battery pack. Connect the cables deriving from the frame card and install everything in the wall housing. Fix and install the finishing plaque. Modem connection. Before connecting the power to the modem, insert the SIM inside the design housing. Connect the connector of the antenna and place it where there's a good telephone signal reception. Connect the information exchange cable to the modem and to the door frame card. Connect the power cable to supply transformer and connect the transformer to the mains. After a few seconds, the LED on the modem will begin to slowly flash, indicating the correct operation. It is thus ready to receive input from the outside. Using a multimeter, test for the voltage on the frame to be between 13.5 and 22 volts. Set the door AGR to check the correct operation by verifying that the display shows the battery charging icon. How to enter the menu. Keeping the clear button on the left pressed, show any key, any if the door is totally new, otherwise if already registered keys are present in the door, show a master key. The first operation to be performed is a mechanical restoration to couple the motor with the latches. Remove the cover of the cylinder cover and insert the key. Keep the clear button on the left pressed if the door is totally new. Press the enter button on the right otherwise after entering the menu. Select operating mode to turn the key towards the hinges until hearing a click. Maintain the position of the key and select mechanical restoration. Keep the position until hearing a further click. At this point, the motor and latches are coupled and the door operates automatically. If this does not happen, repeat the operation. Configuration. When first setting up the door, it's a good rule to synchronize all the accessories. This operation must be performed with the door open. After entering the menu, select Configure Device, then External Communications, and finally Sync Accessories. The operation is completed. The transponder within the EasyKey key is positioned in the area indicated. The key can be shown in both directions. The transponder on the key card is positioned on the entire surface of the card. The transponder on the Doorpass key is located in the position indicated. The receiving antenna is located in the projecting part of the plug. There are two types of keys, a master and a service key. The fundamental difference between the two is that the first not only opens but can access the menu. The second can only open the door. When the door is new, any type of opening is carried out with a few seconds of delay. How to register the transponder keys. After entering the menu, select Archives Management, then Keys Archives, then Enter. The display will now show key waiting, and then it will be necessary to show the key to store. Select the type Service or Master. The first key has to be a master key by default. Set the language of the key. Associate a profile. For this, refer to the manual supplied. Enter the name and finish the operation by pressing the Enter button. The operation has been successfully completed. How to register the Doorpass keys. Verify that the Doorpass scan is enabled by entering the menu and selecting Set up devices, then Doorpass receiver, and then Doorpass scan. At that point, enable and press Enter. To register a key, select Archives Management, then Doorpass Archive, and then Enter. The display will show key waiting, and it will be then necessary to have the key recognized in one of the possible ways. For example, from the inner side, placing it closer to the lower part of the door under the lock, and then select the service or master type. Set the language of the key, associate a profile, for this refer to the manual supplied, enter the name, and finish the operation by pressing the Enter key. There are different possibilities for setting the opening via Doorpass. By default, Simply stand on the outer side with a registered Doorpass to have the door to open. Another possibility is to stand by the door and press the bell button, which generates the door to open in the event there is a registered Doorpass outside. For all the various configurations, please refer to the manual supplied. How to register an encoded remote button. After entering the menu, select Archives Management, then Buttons Archive, and then Enter. The display will show buttons wait, and therefore it will be necessary, strictly with the door closed, to press the remote Dierre coded button that you want to register. Select the service or master key. Select the service or master type. Then the language, associate a profile, for this refer to the manual supplied, enter the name, and finish the operation by pressing the Enter key. The operation has been successfully completed. How to register a PIN code. PIN codes are used to associate the opening through a keypad or using the Dierre Smart Door application. After entering the menu, select Archives Management, then PIN Archive, then Enter. The display will show PIN code, and it will be then necessary to enter the 6 numeric digits PIN. Select the service or master type, set the language, associate a profile, for this refer to the manual supplied, enter the name, and finish the operation by pressing the Enter key. The operation has been successfully completed. Smart Door Application Configuration. Open the Smart Door application previously installed. Set a password for the protection of the application. Select Add Door, attribute it a name. Insert the SIM card phone number present in the GSM modem of the door. Then enter one of the PIN codes previously entered in the door. The operation has been successful and it's therefore possible to interact remotely with the door. For the various options, please refer to the manual supplied. Many advanced features are present in the menu of the door, including the management of archives, reading of the historical accesses, profiling of users, and many others. But for these, please refer to the manual supplied. List of different types of electronic opening. Using the display button, using the transponder key, using the Doorpass key, using the remote encoded button through which it's possible to manage even an ordinary clean contact, for example, closed by an intercom or by a demotic controller, using an encoded numeric keypad, using the Smart Door application. Emergency operations. In case of an electronic failure to the motor, or in the event of power failure and flat battery, it's possible to put the door in manual mode. Remove the cylinder cover, insert the key and turn toward the lock side until hearing a click. It is possible to remove the turns through the knob. To restore the electronic operation, it's necessary to carry out the mechanical restoration, as when the door was first installed. In case all master keys are lost, it's possible to manually perform a global reset of the memory that takes a product back to a new door status. It's necessary to remove the trim on the lock side, extract the electronic card located inside the lock, move the indicated jumper from the standard position to that shown, then wait until the new door icon appears on the display and replace the jumper in its original position. The operation is successfully concluded. Refit the card and the trim.